Good
Me.
morning and welcome to Monday Momentum. Make some money, honey. It is 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we have some wonderful guests with us this morning. I'm Julia Flynn Worry, and Sarah Coolidge is my partner. I'm on the East Coast. She's on the West Coast. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Julia. Hi, everybody. The sun is almost coming up here in California, so it's not quite sunny California. And when it gets up a little higher, maybe I won't be quite so orange. We have an interesting color scheme going on today. Happy Monday. It's the beginning of the week, and it's also the beginning of the month. Yay! So not only are we going to rock this week, we're going to rock this whole month. So back to you, Julia.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to hear that. It's December 1st, and I'm just going to put this out there. My birthday is this Friday, so I'm just going to let you all know this is going to be a great week. I am starting on some wonderful new adventures this week. I'm extremely excited about to talk
25,
about.
right?
And I'm going to say that again, Sarah?
You're going to be 25.
I'm going to be 25 this week, absolutely. I want to share with everybody a couple new procedures that we're going to have this week, which is going to be everybody is going to be muted and they're going to have their camera off unless they're talking or we're directly talking to them. So what I'm excited about this week is the launch of Cyber Monday today and the launch of the holiday season. And what does that mean for everybody who's out there? Now, Sarah and I have been talking at great length about the people who are actually viewing and who are getting a lot of information from us and who's been participating. And there's been one common thread that we have seen running through everyone who has been participating, and that is people who not only own their own businesses, but people who are involved in either network marketing or sometimes called multi-level marketing, and people who are looking for ways to be successful in that arena, in that industry. And interestingly enough, everyone who has joined me this morning has tremendous success in that field. We've all had different levels of success with networking, whether or not we are doing multi-level marketing, network marketing, direct sales, that kind of sales. We all network. And Sarah and I got so excited this week when we realized that that is the one common thread of folks that run through and that we talk to all the time about being successful in their business, and we all have a little bit of experience. And Sarah, what would you say to somebody who is endeavoring to start in a new career like that?
Well, there's a couple things I would say. Number one, network marketing or MLM or relationship marketing or whatever you want to call it has, for some people, kind of a bad rap. And because of that, other people are not willing to even consider it as an option. And yet, if you have been an employee for working for someone for a while and are thinking about trying to break out on your own in any way at all, starting with one of these traditional network marketing businesses is a great way to get some business education, learn some tools, and get started. And you can get started without having to leave your job a lot of the time. Having said that, I would also add you need to know a little bit about what you're doing. It's not every company is the same. Not every company is going to take as good a care of you, and so you really want to do your research. But when you find a good company, one that fits you, products that fit you, stuff that you're excited about, you can do very, very well there. And the other thing I want to add to that is, as Julia said a minute ago, we're all network marketing all the time. I don't care what your business is, even if you're not having any business at all. If you're working at a job, you are still networking and you're still marketing. So what's the difference? It's just a matter of mindset, and it's a matter of integrity so that you're clear about what you're doing and happy with what you're doing, and therefore not alienating people, not pushing people away, which is the fear that many people have around sales, really in any field. And so, again, what Julia said earlier, we just really, it's all network marketing. And so whether or not you are actually actively currently right now involved in an MLM or another business that you would categorize there, you're still doing network marketing, and we still feel like there's plenty to talk about here that's going to benefit you. Another little thing that I would add, if you have never considered any of these kinds of things but would like a tax break, pretty much every one of us should have some kind of business we're running out of the tax benefits. So that's another reason to take a look at it. And again, look for a good company, and there's plenty of guidelines there. answer your question?
Absolutely. That is exactly what I wanted to talk about today. And good morning to our MLM queen, Brenda Graham. I'm so glad that she's here just in time. It was like she heard the call and walked right into the room. We're going to be really addressing the needs of people who are doing marketing and MLM businesses and network marketing businesses a lot, because that seems to be the growing trend is owning your own business. Now, that's always been popular, of course, owning your own business. People have always wanted to do that. But now more than ever, it is easier than ever, and there are so many different options available to you. As many of you know, I'm a social media marketing expert, and I provide search engine optimization for my clientele. And this became particularly interesting to me because I was getting a lot of questions about marketing, about how do I market myself, about how do I brand myself and become a unique entity while still providing something that a lot of other people are doing. I'm not isolated to one product or service. So over the coming months, over the next year, we're going to be really delving deeper and really taking a look at ways to be successful with whatever company it is that you decide that you want to participate in, and with finding the right mentors, the right tax information, the right marketing, the right education, the right product, the right service, and ultimately the right pay plan. Talking about whether or not you are knowledgeable about a product or service is extremely important, but I would also like to point out that it's another point is that we need to have the right pay plan so that we're definitely earning what we're hoping we're earning as we go along. And that has been a consistent question that I've received from people too, not only about marketing, but how do I know I'm getting paid and paid properly and things like that. Sarah, do you have a little bit of a background about your background as far as networking goes, or what you've been doing in networking for years?
Yeah, sure. I like many people, got my start in business with a network marketing company, and I had been involved with one when I was much younger and done okay, but in the end not prospered the way I'd hoped, and had given it up and thought, okay, that's not for me. And it was 20 years later when I was reading Robert Kiyosaki, one of his books. It wasn't Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but it was one of them. And in one of his chapters, or the focus of that book was, in part, yes, network marketing is okay. These are the 10 things you should look for, the 12 things you should look for. And right at that time, someone had been talking to me, and I had been sort of, no, no, no. And then I read through this list, and I said, okay, come tell me about your thing again. And okay, all right. And so I did it ferociously for quite a while and had a great level of success, did really well, and enjoyed it a lot. And it led me to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And that's what I was talking about earlier. It's an entry point, and it's a secure entry point. Now, that might sound crazy to some of you, but it is secure when you pick the right company, because you get all the tools that you need. You get the business education you need. It's being an entrepreneur, running a business is very different from being an employee. And so it's not something I would not recommend to anybody, that if you've never done any kind of business, to just go out and start a store. It seems to me like there are so many things that you wouldn't know that could really trip you up. Whereas if you're starting a store with a network marketing company, that all you need is a desk and a table and a computer and a phone, you can experiment, you can learn without putting so much at risk. And it's just a great way to get a start. So that was my experience. I have nothing but good things to say about it now, always with that buyer beware. Make sure you're looking for a company that's got a good solid reputation, that doesn't have a history of closing overnight, or has some crazy product that nobody would ever really buy for very long. You have to really be careful about it. But they're out there. There are some really good companies.
I'm in 100% agreement with you, Sarah. I'm in 100% agreement with you. The challenge that I had when I was doing some different businesses was this practically self-loathing about, oh my God, don't tell anybody you're doing network marketing. But it's interesting, because when I went into sales, there were a lot of people who said the same thing about being a salesperson. Oh my God, don't tell anybody you're in sales. That's gonna, people don't like salespeople, or something like that. I don't know. It was really strange, and I grew up with a completely different outlook on sales and marketing and network marketing. Completely different idea of that. I had the utmost respect because my parents did. They were really into sales, into entrepreneurship, marketing, and it was wonderful. My first experience was actually Mary Kay, and I'm mentioning specifically this because yesterday I received a little note in my stream from Inc. magazine, and it was honoring the top 10 salespeople, and she was listed. And I just have to say that that was really, really cool for me. She was right up there with Zig Ziglar, who is my all-time hero. Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor, Tom Hopkins. Those people are just in me. Just I can't get enough of them and the inspiration there. And you know, we're talking about momentum. We're talking about staying in motion and moving forward. And I just want to say that you can't create actual motivation in someone else. You can't really motivate somebody else. It has to come from within. But talking about the different ideas and positivity and the law of attraction, I really get excited about that. That's what motivates me. That's what juices me. That's what gets my engines going. And that's where it really kind of all started. I see Brenda is here, and I'm going to unmute her, and I'm going to ask her a question. Brenda, the question that I have for you is, starting out, have you ever had anybody talk to you about any negativity around the phraseology of MLM or network marketing? Was that ever something? And hang on, I'm going to unmute you, and then you can answer. Oh, no. There we go. Can you talk? Can I hear you? Oh, no, we can't hear you yet.
Are you muted on your end too, Brenda? It looks like it.
Okay, there we go.
There she is.
Well, you know what? I used to think that the stigma for network marketing and multi-level was cultural, you know, just related to my community as a person of color. But it's not. How would I know? I didn't know. So as I've grown, and that's why I started and had to start stating who I really was, because I internally had to reverse a lot of negative things that I 100% heard about those kinds of institutions. I have to erase that. That's you know, a lot of years of erasing bullcrap. So nothing has changed. It's the same. And for people, I've just learned now, when people say anything negative as I'm talking with them, I just move on, because I know that they are not ignorant from an intelligence sense. They're just ignorant about what is and what's going on in this world. And so you have to move on.
Oh, I love it. So that's your first lesson, really, is the preconceived notions that you hear from other people don't always match what reality is, number one. But number two, if somebody gives you that, throws you that negative stuff, move on to somebody else who's not so negative. I love that. I really do love that. I had my first experience with this many, many years ago. I was very young, didn't have any idea about, I didn't know terminology, I didn't know any words, I didn't know anything about MLM, or I really was completely green, very young, probably about 20. And I had heard the term pyramid scheme, and it was a phrase that scared me, although I didn't know what it meant. No one had ever said it to me, and I said something to somebody, and I said, that really scares me. And this person said to me, you know, until you do some personal investigation, don't let what somebody else's fear is sway you. You know, and I thought, oh, okay. I mean, I was so little. I didn't get it. You know what I mean? I didn't hear those terms before or anything like that. And that was a negative statement. But, you know, what I learned from that negative statement was go and do your own due diligence and learn on your own. And I thought that was a really exciting thing to do. And I'm glad I did that in my life and in my career, because now in college, my oldest niece is a senior in college. And networking is part of her curriculum. I mean, if they are taught how to network, because otherwise, how are they going to get a job? Right? I mean, isn't that where networking kind of begins?
Well, networking, to me, we are social animals. We want to connect to each other. And we no longer live in tribes, in little teeny villages. We're spread out all over the place, and we talk to each other through computers. And networking has now developed a title. It's a skill you have to learn, whereas before it was just natural for us to all know what everybody else did in our circle around us, and once in a while we would all, as a tribe, go to a big powwow or whatever and meet the other people, and it's just a natural thing that we do. It brings anybody in any kind of a family or social unit forward when they can interact with others, and so to have to label it then puts it in a category, and some people will then say things like, I'm not good at networking, or, as like Brenda was talking about, I'm not good at sales, or I'm not good at MLM, or MLM is bad. And it's, again, it's this human tendency that we have to categorize and to put people into groups. We naturally do that. We can't help ourselves. It's biology. We're driven by that, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a negative. It's just something to be understood, and then keep that open mind like you were referring to, Julia, for any issue, not just when somebody says something like pyramid scheme, for anything at all. You always should do your own due diligence. You should always investigate, because when you're getting someone's opinion, the first thing that should be going on in your head is, well, is this true or is this an opinion? Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but that doesn't mean that you have to take it on as fact.
I would agree with you completely. And I know, Linda, that you have no camera or audio this morning, but I would love to hear any contribution that you have. If you want to type it in as a chat, we will be able to see it. And as well for you, Chuck Howard, if you want to type anything out in the chat box in the upper left corner, everyone who's watching, if you go to the upper left corner of your screen, you'll see a blue box that looks like a quote with white lines through it, and if you click that, you'll be able to chat and contribute. So I do want to put that out there even for our viewers. So getting back to this idea of networking, I was wondering, when you talk about networking, where is the first place that most people begin? And I have an idea of what I think that people do when they first start networking, but I'd love to hear first from Brenda and then from Sarah. Brenda, where do you think people start when they start their business of network marketing? Where do you think they first begin?
They first begin when they open their mouth, because everything we say is networking. And as a new network marketer, that's one of our faults. We're usually so excited about what we're doing that we don't have the discretion to be discreet. We talk to too many people, say too many things, and too much. So realizing that we have to live who and what we are. And so as we do that, that is our first introduction of the networking.
Boy, that is brilliant. You're absolutely right. I love it. I absolutely love it. Sarah, where do you think people start with their networking?
So I'm assuming that you're talking, Julia, about a new person and a new venture of some kind, because as we said earlier, you know, school is where you start networking within your family, within your extended family. But for a new person and a new business, networking, I think traditionally people start going to meetings. They go to the Chamber of Commerce or the Seroptimus or the Optimist or the Rotary. And now, of course, the wonderful networking stuff that we have with meetup groups and, you know, all of that. That's what I think of. You know, our initial market is always what we call our warm market, all the people that we know, and supposedly each of us know about 200 people, though I can guarantee you in this cell phone I've got 1,000 names, so I guess I know 1,000 people, and so there's a bunch, but eventually we realize that if I'm going to grow this the way I want to grow it, I'm going to have to meet more people, and so then the networking challenge begins. I would encourage all of you that are watching that are beginning right now to start networking now. Don't wait until you've used up your warm market. Do it now, because your warm market, you can always wait. If you grow your business like crazy without the warm market, that's just a nice little thing you can hold in your back pocket whenever you need it.
That is absolutely true, and I would 100% agree with both of you. And Linda did just pop in and say that she's dabbled, which I knew that, and I was glad she saw that was what our conversation was about today, was something she had dabbled in. I do. I have a funny thought, and this is kind of what my experience has been, which was when I first started out in sales. Now, in sales, when I worked in a corporate environment, it was a little bit different. I went back to the people that I knew. I immediately went back to networking. Didn't know what that term was. I had been a printing buyer, and now I was going to become a printing salesperson. So I went right back to the people that I used to buy for, and called them immediately and said, who do you know who I should call? And that was great. I didn't realize that was actually networking. So that's where I started on a professional level. But when I started my own business, doing some different networking that way, the one thing I learned the hard way, and I have tried to educate others on, is exactly what Brenda was touching on a little bit, which is the first thing people do is run right out to their family and friends, the people closest to them, and just spill it all over them. Just go too far. Just say too much. They have no discretion. They're so excited. They just blow up and share too much information. Is that what you were kind of saying, Brenda?
Exactly. Vomit. VOMIT.
That was the word. That was the word I was dancing around. Word vomit. And it's funny because then I started working with groups of people, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm going to tell you what I tell other people, which is there was a very famous person years and years ago that many people know about, and his name was Jesus. And he lived in a little town. He had this great idea, this brilliant new idea that he thought was so cool, whatever you think that idea was. And he went and he told all of his friends. And you know what they did? They said, get the heck out of here. So when he went away and he went and talked to other people, and then he came back and they were more accepting. So I would say that the concept of trying to tell everyone in your family your great new idea is about 2,000 years old, of it not being such a great idea. So from my experience, what I have learned was to start with a cold market. And I know that's counter to what a lot of businesses have said, but my own personal experience, this is what I have experienced, has been that I've had greater success with a cold market than my own personal warm market. And I just wondered what you two thought of that.
Well, I agree completely, and I just want to remind you what time it is. We have 7:23 in California, and that means we're getting close to the end, so we shouldn't dig into a hot new topic. But the people around you that are used to you the way you are, your family, your spouse, your children, they love you, we hope, but they don't want you to change, because then their world changes, and that's where that comes from a lot of the time. It's not always the bad rap of MLM. It's just you're not allowed to change no matter what you're trying to do. And when you deal with brand new people that have just met you, say a year ago, like me and Brenda and Julia here, we can be anyone we want, and they don't know all our old garbage and the other stuff, and some of it we want to leave behind. So that's why it's easier with a cold market, because you may, feel as though you need to know them better, be nervous in the beginning if you've never done anything like this, but you can be whoever you want to be, and the person across from you has no stake in the game, no reason for you to try to change you, at least not yet.
That's right, and you don't have any emotional stake in it either. I think that's when you start with your warm market, when you hear negative things from the people that you love and respect, it is so much more demoralizing and hurtful.
Yes.
So that's huge. And I like that, Julia.
Boy, oh. Well, it kind of came to mind when I was explaining it to somebody, like, how can I really explain this in the simplest way that comes around? I mean, and even if that's not your practice, you've at least heard of that story, and I think that kind of sums it up. But I do want to say that we are getting to the end of the time, but what we were doing today was an introduction to what we're going to be moving forward and talking about, which is success in network marketing, success in networking, and success in multi-level marketing. And that is what we are truly excited to be sharing with you as we move forward into the coming year. When you check the website makesomemoneyhoney.com or sarahcoolidge.com or ceospace.com, ceospacewest.com, excuse me, you're going to be seeing our curriculum spelled out for the next year. And what we're going to be talking about at greater length these smaller meetings that we have on Monday mornings are just chit-chat sessions to get started and really launch the momentum of your week. But when we do our longer sessions, we're going to delve a lot deeper, have more practical training, accountability, and workshops. So we hope that you'll join us for that. I'd like to kick it back over to Brenda to do a little sign-off, and then to Sarah, and then bring it on back to me. Before I do that, I want to thank Linda Kay, who is always here with us as well. Today we just couldn't get a little bit more knowledge. Linda Kay is a web designer located in New Hampshire, and we love her being here with us. Even if we can't hear her beautiful voice and see her beautiful face, we love that she participates. Chuck Howard is actually someone that I've been working with for a couple of years. He works with me directly in some businesses, and thank you to Linda. And I want to say thank you to Chuck for joining us. Brenda, can you give us a 1-minute wrap-up before we kick off?
Here's the 1-minute wrap-up, and it's really a mantra that I did over the weekend, because over the weekend I just tried to regroup on everything that I was doing. So now I have these cards posted all over my mirrors and behind me on the wall, and I'm going to read my mantra, but you have to do it in front of a mirror. So here it is. Good morning, you beautiful thing. Or Chuck, you handsome thing. You are blessed, prosperous, successful, strong, talented, creative, confident, secure, disciplined, focused, and a highly favored child of the Most High God. And you can use your higher being, but you got to look in the mirror, look at yourself, and say it with attitude so you believe it. Every day, more than once a day.
Good morning, you beautiful thing, Brenda. Woo-hoo!
Woo! Good morning, Sarah. Julia, Chuck, Sarah.
Woo! So I don't know how to follow that, but I do want to encourage you to come back next Monday and have a great week this week. If you would like to know more about what I do, check out my website, ceospacewest.com. CEO Space is an organization that supports entrepreneurs and small businesses to grow to be big ones. And we have a big conference coming up in just about a week, so if you're interested in learning more, you should get to that website today. Thanks very much. Have a fabulous week, you guys.
Oh, I'm so glad to be able to follow all of those wonderful women, beautiful, wonderful, creative, talented women who are blessed, and men too, sorry Chuck, and wonderful men too. My name is Julia Flynn Worry, and we get together every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern Time for a quick 30 minutes of Monday Motivation, Monday Momentum, where we talk about making some money, honey. Please join us every single week from 7 a.m. until 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. And also click subscribe on our channel. Look for me, Julia Flynn Worry, and I'll give you my correct spelling of my name. And our website, makesomemoneyhoney.com. We love seeing you. We love hearing your feedback and your questions. Please send us your questions specifically about how we might be able to help you with some of our own expertise, and contact me for getting into that boot camp and that class where we're going to be doing some deeper dives on how to be successful in your business. Thanks so much, and have a great week.
Bye.